So we're going to be going over some questions that are similar to the test questions for round 2. We're going to be looking at number 1, so this is similar to number 1 on your test, and it says on the coordinate grid reflect shape J across the x-axis. So we need to decide which of these axes is this one, or the up and down one, is our x-axis. And I always remember this because the y can be really long. The y-axis will be this one. So this is our y-axis, and this axis is our x-axis. So we're going to be reflecting this shape across this axis. So all we're going to do is count how many spaces it is until we hit the x-axis, and we're going to do that many spaces on the other side. So starting at this point, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means we're going to go down 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's going to be our first point. Okay, we'll do our next point. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to do 4 on the other side. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're going to start here, count the spaces till we hit the x-axis because that's what we're reflecting over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to do 6 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And our last point, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now all we're going to do is connect all of those points. So we're going to connect these two, then we're going to connect these two, this one to there, and that one to there. So this would be J prime. It's a reflection of the original shape J across the x-axis. So number 2, this one's similar to number 2 in the test. On the coordinate grid, translate shape J 6 units to the right and 4 units down. So we're going to start at each one of these points, and we're going to go 6 units to the right and 4 units down. So you're always starting at a point. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, I'm going to count again because I lost track. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to go 4 units down. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Plot that point. So let's do this one. We're going to go 6 units to the right and 4 units down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 units down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Our next space, again, we're going to go 6 units to the right and 4 units down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. And our last point, we're still doing 6 units to the right and 4 units down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 4 units down. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to connect those lines. And now this is our J prime, so it's just a translation of J. We just slid it down. It's the same exact sides. We're just sliding it over 6 units to the right and 4 units down. So you have to start at each point to do the translation. Okay, this is like number 3 on the test. So on the coordinate grid, rotate shape H 180 degrees about the origin. So we're going to have to remember our rules for rotating 180 degrees. And our rule for rotating 180 degrees is just flipping the, if it's a positive number, you're going to flip it to the negative number. If it's a negative number, you'll flip to a positive number. You're doing the opposite of whatever sign it has. So what we're going to do is find our original ordered pair for each one of these points. And to make this easier, I'm going to label each one of these points. So I'm going to label this point A, B, C, and D. And I just picked these letters randomly. You can pick any letter in the alphabet. It's just to keep track of which point you're talking about. So I'm going to talk about point A and find its ordered pairs. So A, we went Starting at our origin, we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, negative 6 this way. So our x value is negative 6, and we're going up how many spaces? So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and up 6. Our B original ordered pair is, we're going to start at that origin, we go over 1, 2, 3, 4, so negative 4 spaces, and then we go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, positive 5. Point C, again, starting at that origin, we're going to go over until we can go up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to go up 1, 2, 3. So we have negative 5, 3. And our last point, D, again, we're going to start at the origin, count over until we can go up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so negative 6. And we're going to go up 1, 2, 3. So these are our original points for shape H. Now we need to rotate it 180 degrees, and we said all we have to do to rotate it 180 degrees is flip the sign. So if it's positive, we're going to make it negative, and if it's negative, we're going to make it positive. So A prime. So 6 is negative, the opposite would be positive 6, and this 6 is positive, so the opposite would be negative 6. Okay, B prime. It's negative 4, so the opposite of negative 4 would be positive 4. The opposite of positive 5 would be negative 5. C prime. We're just changing the sign to its opposite. So this is a negative 5, so we're going to make it a positive 5. This is a positive 3, so we're going to make it a negative 3. We aren't changing the order, we're just changing the sign. And D prime, we're going to do negative 6, the opposite is positive 6, and positive 3, the opposite is negative 3. Now all we need to do is plot our new ordered pairs onto our coordinate grid. And we will rotate our figure 180 degrees. We don't have to think about how we're turning the figure. All we have to do is remember our rule and plot our points. So we're going to go positive 6, negative 6. So we went over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and down 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would be point A prime. Okay, now we're going to do B prime. We go over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. B prime. Now we're going to do C prime, so we're going to go over 5 and down 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 3, 1, 2, 3. C prime. And D prime, we're going to go over 6 and down 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and down 3. 1, 2, 3. That is D prime. And now all we have to do is connect those lines. And now we have a 180 degree rotation of H prime. Okay? I also want you to remember to make sure you're ending up in the right quadrant. You can remember that each of these angles is 90 degrees. So if we're starting here, the start line, if you run something, doesn't count, right? That's where you start at. It's 0. So each of these quadrants is 90 degrees. So if we need to go 180 degrees, we're going 90 degrees plus 90 degrees would be 180 degrees. If we had to go 270 degrees, we're doing 90 degrees plus 90 degrees plus 90, and that equals 270. So we'd end up in this quadrant. So if you count or you add the degrees of each quadrant, you'll know at least which quadrant you'll end up in, and that's kind of a way to check yourself. So we knew we had to rotate 180 degrees, which means we had to do 90 plus 90, which gets us here to 180 degrees. And that's how we know that this shape had to end up in this quadrant. Okay, we're going to do number 4. So on the coordinate grid, dilate shape M by a scale factor of 3. We remember that when we learn about factors, we are multiplying. So scale factor means multiply, and the number we are saying the scale factor of is 3. So we're going to multiply each number by 3. But before we're able to multiply each number by 3, we need to find the original ordered pairs. So this is shape M. It doesn't have any labels on its corners or vertices. Or vertices. I'm going to label them. So let's say, last time we did ABC, so let's do L. Actually, let's not do L. Let's do X, Y, and Z. So I need to find the original coordinates for X, Y, and Z. And remember, the shapes that you have to find the original, or transformations that you have to find the original coordinates for, will be rotations and dilations. For translations and reflections, you are just counting. For rotations and dilations, you have to find the original ordered pairs. So we're going to do X, and to get X, we had to go 1, 2, so our X value is 2, and up 1, 2, up 2. For our Y value, we had to go over 1, 2, and up 1. And for Z, we had to go nowhere, so our X value is 0. We had to go up 1. So now we're going to do our dilation, and since scale factor means multiply, and it tells us we're going to multiply by 3, all we have to do is multiply all these numbers by 3, and that'll give us our dilation. So X prime, we're going to do 2 times 3, which is 6, and 2 times 3, which is 6, so that's our new X ordered pair. For Y prime, we're going to do 2 times 3, which is 6, and 1 times 3, which is 3, and that's our Y ordered pair. And then we'll get Z prime. 0 times 3 is 0, and 1 times 3 is 3. So these are all of our new ordered pairs, and all we have to do is graph them on our coordinate grid, and we will have our dilation. So we need to go positive 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for our X prime, and up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is X prime. For Y prime, we're going to go over 6 and up 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and up 3. 1, 2, 3. It's Y prime. And for Z prime, we're going to go over none because it's 0, and we're going to go up 3. So this is Z prime. And now all we need to do is connect those lines, and we will have our dilated figure. So that is now M prime. That's all we had to do. We just found our original ordered pairs, multiplied it by 3, and got our new set of ordered pairs and plotted them. Okay? So number 6. Number 6 is a little bit of a weird question. So which figure accurately shows a reflection across the x-axis? So notice I got a coordinate grid, and what I'm going to do is think which one is my x-axis and which is my y. So here we have our x-axis, and I'm going to write the word add above, so I remember what we're talking about. And now I'm going to think if I do a reflection, I'm going to write add a little bit nicer. If I do a reflection, normally I count the points away from the x-axis that I'm at. So you can kind of think of the same idea when you get to a question like this one on your test. We count the points, and then we do that same number on the opposite side. So if we start at, like, let's say this corner of A, it's 1, 2, spaces from the x-axis, it's going to be 1, 2, so that would be our first A. And this is just a little bit of a trick. You don't really have to think about it this way. So this top part is 1, 2, 3, 4, so we're going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is 1, 2, so we're going to be 1, 2. So that's how we get our A. And that's a little bit of a trick if you think about this, is how, if we already plotted this A, we know A over here won't work, B won't work, and D won't work. So we already got our answer, and we didn't have to plot the two D's. So another way you can think about this is when you fold a piece of paper. if we folded this piece and brought it the whole way down here, and let's say this word add was painted on, if we folded it, the paint would leave an imprint upside down like this, so that's how we know it's a reflection. It's just flipping from top to bottom. It's not flipping order, it's just flipping so that the top will become the bottom and the bottom will become the top. Okay, so this one's a little bit tricky, but think about your coordinate grid and how it's reflecting over that axis. If you need graph paper, remember it's over in the drawers on the bookshelf. Okay, last one, number 10. If rectangle WXYZ is rotated 180 degrees, which best represents the coordinates of the new figure? So remember we said rotations and dilations, we have to find the original ordered pair of the figure before we can find the new figure. So we need to find the original ordered pair of WXYZ. So W, its ordered pair is, we're going to start at the origin, we're going to go over 1, 2, 3, so our X value is -3, and we're going to go down 1, 2, so our Y value is -2. Then let's do X. We have to go over 1, so our X value is -1, and our Y value be 1, 2, so -2. Now let's do our Y value. We're going to go over -1, and we're going to go down 1, 2, 3, -3. Then we have Z. So we're going to go over 1, 2, 3, so -3 is our X value, and we're going to go down 1, 2, 3, so -3. Okay, now we need to remember our rule for 180 degree rotation. We know that each quadrant is worth 90 degrees, so we're going to go 90 degrees. 90 plus 90 is 180, so we want to end up in this quadrant. That's one hint. Our rule for 180 degrees is to flip the sign. We are not flipping the order of the numbers, we are just flipping the sign. So if it's a negative number, we'll make it positive. If it's a positive number, we'll make it negative. So W prime, all we're doing is flipping the sign. So it's -3, the opposite would be +3. We have -2, the opposite would be +2. Okay, X prime. We have -1, the opposite of a negative is a +1. We have a -2, the opposite of a negative is a +2. Over to Y prime. -1, the opposite is +1. -3, the opposite is +3. And Z prime. So we have -3, the opposite of a negative is a +3, again, +3. Now all you need to do is plot these points on your coordinate grid and you'll get your answer. But this question is giving us the ordered pairs. So technically we're able to find our answer right now, but I think you should plot it just to make sure that we end up in that correct quadrant that we wanted to. So W prime is over 3 up 2. X prime is over 1 up 2. Y prime is over 1 up 3. And Z prime is over 3 up 3. So yes, we did end up in the correct quadrant. So we are good to find our answer. So we're looking for one that has W prime as 3, 2. Okay, so probably C. X prime as 1, 2. Y prime as 1, 3. And Z prime as 3, 3. So our answer would be C. So now you're going to be able to start your round 2. Please make sure you complete all questions that were not answered the first time and fix any highlighted questions that you got wrong. Remember, if it's a hotspot question, I'm not saying all your answer choices are incorrect or correct. Just make sure that you have all correct answers circled at the end. Good luck!